What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 36 today of the My Player Career Mode here on FIFA 18. If you missed the previous episode, I'm about to spoil it for you guys, so make sure you go back and watch it if you did. We played the FA Cup final live, and after that game, guys, Ben managed to tweet this on Twitter. He said, 2 out of 4 Prem and Cup champions sadly couldn't get the treble as they did lose the FA Cup to Swansea last episode, of course. It's still been an unreal season. I've got some time off now, so I'm going to take a holiday and come back ready for next season. Thank you for your support. So on that note, he decided to get himself off and he went to a beach. I'm not going to well, I don't know exactly where he went to, which particular beach this was. It might have been Spain, it might have been France, it might have been Italy, it might have just been England, but we don't know because he never released where he was going on holiday. But he took some time off, he chilled out, went to the beach, just, I guess, you know, kind of recharged his batteries ahead of next season. Because you look at that season that he had, and in many ways, it was a great season, but there were some parts of it that were kind of stressful for him as well. So, coming back, he was allowed to not play in the preseason. Pochettino gave him off. He basically said, you're not needed for the preseason tour, so you're basically going to have a little bit of an extra holiday. So that's exactly what happened. So maybe it'd be a bad decision because obviously some fans would like to have seen him, but they don't get to do so because he was giving it off after the great season he has just had, which is when he chose and decided to go on holiday. There is kind of rumours swirling about that he may have gone over to France to visit his uncle, of course, DJ Wood, and there's a few other rumours as well saying that people spotted him in the likes of Spain and Italy, but nothing set in stone at the moment. So as they're going into game one here, it's the Community Shield against Swansea City, of course. Swansea defeated Spurs in the last episode of this series in order to beat them for the FA Cup, and this one, you know, it's basically pointless. I say this so many times, the Community Shield, yes, it's great, it's nice, you know, if you win it, great, but ultimately, I don't think if any of these players are here, yeah, they'll be bothered about winning it, but then after that, the novelty just goes away after the first day. So, if Spurs win this, I would have much preferred them to have won the FA Cup over Swansea rather than the Community Shield. If the other way happens, where Swansea win, then fair play, because they'll have defeated Spurs twice within 2 games here. But this game started off pretty well. Ben picking up the ball in the 17th minute before finding the back of the net. The shot from the edge of the area going in there, and he celebrates with his new haircut and a new beard as well that seems to be growing as well. So he's actually cut his hair. I don't know if he chose to do that. Let me know what you guys think of it. Do you guys like his haircut? Do you prefer the previous one? I don't know. He's chosen to go with that one though, and that's at the moment what he's going to be going with. So he gets the opener of the game here inside the first 18 minutes of it. Swansea, of course, were, I don't want to say lucky to beat Spurs in that FA Cup final, but strictly speaking, they didn't really do, you know, that much in order to get themselves in front, barring, of course, scoring last few minutes. But then again, Spurs didn't play well either, so I can't really say that Spurs deserve to do anything. So if it had been a different final and it had been a more like entertaining final, I would have preferred it, I guess. But then this happened. Harry Kane makes it 2-0, and at this stage, I was like, well, where was this performance in the FA Cup final, you know? But a lot of that could be attributed down to the fact that Spurs played a lot of games. It could be down to the fact that they just weren't ready for the FA Cup final. They were still in party mode after the Premier League. Anything could have been a factor because as soon as we played the Community Shield here, they got battered, Swansea, because then 49 minutes in the second half, great play again from Spurs. Harry Kane on the left-hand side gets a little bit of luck there, beating that defender past his tackle, finds the ball into Son. Son eventually gives it off to Nzonzi, and he slots home to make it 3-0. So at that stage, I was thinking, what on earth has happened? How did they lose 1-0 in the FA Cup final and yet just demolish them in this Community Shield? I mean, as I said, you know, some players consider this as not really too much to play for, therefore they may not try their hardest, I guess, if you can say that. I don't know. But regardless, Community Shield really doesn't matter. And the fact that Spurs are now beating Swansea in this, and they couldn't do it in the FA Cup final, is slightly disappointing. So, and Swansea with a third of the 3, Ben involved in at least one of these ones after finishing his move off. And to be fair to him, he did okay. He played all right. I mean, he didn't have a great final in the FA Cup, but this time around, he did the job that he needed to do. So Spurs 3, Swansea 0 was the way the game ended. And as you saw there, the referee brought it to a close. I accidentally skipped, guys, at the lifting of the Community Shield. But you can see, I mean, the manager isn't really celebrating that much. So regardless, wasn't too real bothered about skipping it. So some of the Swansea players look a little bit distraught. But, I mean, it's the first game of the season, which technically speaking, it isn't really the first game of the season. Because I suppose a lot of teams won't have actually played yet in terms of a competitive game. So for Swansea, there's still 38 games to go, you know, in the league at least, and there's still a lot more to play for. And, you know, they are defending champions of the FA Cup, so they still have a long season to go. So for them, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. And for Spurs, at least they started off in the right way, I guess you can say. But good win, and it was a very nice way to kickstart this new season off with Ben. And of course, guys, it just so happens that we're used to seeing doubles of games where we play a lot of teams within the space of a few games. We had Arsenal a couple of times do that. This time around, it's Swansea, because we've played them now 3 games running. The FA Cup final, the Community Shield there, and now they are the first game that Spurs will play in the Premier League. So here we are, guys. You can see we are going to go over to the Liberty Stadium and see if Swansea City have the chance and can they redeem themselves for that Community Shield disappointment rather than, have that situation. Can they, I guess, replicate the FA Cup final performance that they want to do? So Ben again picked for this one as he goes into it. I saw a few of you guys' comments as well. I haven't been around my computer that much, but I did see a couple of them when I managed to look at it on my phone, saying that Ben, of course, is a very, very high rating and should he still be playing at Spurs at this stage. So again, now I've decided I'm probably going to stop using the training system in order to improve his stats to get him up technically, although I will be putting him in for the free kick ones because I do want to make sure that he's growing on the free kick side of things. So for now, I'm going to stop using the training system as frequently, so it will, of course, stop his growth a little bit in terms of how fast he was growing. But for this game against Swansea, they played pretty much the same side, so did Spurs, and it was going to be a replica of that Community Shield. We'll see if Swansea get the great start to the season, whether or not Spurs can do it, or if both teams are going to be even here, and it'll be a point apiece. Let's find out. First chance of the game, 52 minutes in. Again, very disappointing first half from Spurs. They didn't get going. It took 52 minutes in. Ben on the ball. Nice little, shield play and strength there to keep hold of it. Eventually falls to Nzonzi, whose shot is well saved by the goalkeeper. And then we had a few minutes between that and that. Ben here manages just to win that ball off the defender. Eventually gets it into the box, but gets tackled. And then Harry Kane picks up a loose ball before finding Ben, who just about squeezes it past the goalkeeper with his right foot to make the score. Spurs 1, Swansea 0 here at the Liberty Stadium. And in all seriousness, guys, that came from absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Harry Kane just picks up a pass which really shouldn't have been played there. You never, ever, ever play across the face of goal. Don't ever do it, guys. You're asking for danger, basically, if you play. And honestly, don't know what the Swansea defenders were thinking there. So Ben gets the opening goal of the game here, and it's the first goal as well in the Premier League for Spurs. Just so happens that it is Ben as well who gets it. That's pretty good as well. But Swansea, to their credit, didn't sit back. They came straight back at Spurs. And 73 minutes in, as I said about not passing it across the face of goal, you also don't want to make mistakes by passing it straight to a Swansea City player. And that's what happens for Swansea's equaliser. I mean, I have to say, there's still loads to do when this player picks up the ball for Swansea, the number 7. So I at least have to give him major, major credit, because when he gets the ball, he's still in a situation where, I would say he probably shouldn't score. And somehow, he curls one into the top corner so easily and he makes the score 1-1. I was disappointed, but at the same time, for Spurs, I was kind of disappointed for Ben. But then at the same time, as I said, you just have to hold your hands up and say, that's just class. It is really real class. So, yeah, it's disappointing to be 1-1, but if it's to the goal like that, I can't really complain because it is class and he had a lot to do, as I said. So 1-1 in the game. Swansea and Spurs looking like they might be heading for a point apiece here. However, another mistake by Spurs as they couldn't clear their lines. And 90 minutes in, you guessed it, Swansea pick up the ball again in the box, and the same corner that they equalise with, they score again. And it is this time courtesy of the post. And to say the least, I went from being a bit disappointed to very disappointed and angry. I was like, what on earth has just happened? Ben couldn't believe it as well. If you watch his reaction as well, if you go back, he just kind of stands there like, what on earth is going on? How have we actually lost this game? From a situation where they were 1-0 up, with 15 minutes to go, they've gone on to lose the game 2-1 to Swansea. So maybe Swansea are Spurs' kryptonite in this series. As the game got back underway, Ben literally didn't have enough time to do anything. The referee bringing it to a close there. And that was the way the game ended. So, again, I was like baffled. I just didn't know what to make because, again, they dominated the first game in the Community Shield against Swansea, and yet immediately after that they play against them again. And it's like watching a different team play. It really is. So, Swansea wanted it more. They deserved the win. They got the win. It happens. They deserve the FA Cup win, I guess, with the fact that they managed to put the ball in the back of the net. And the only defeat they've got is the Community Shield, which isn't really that important, is it, to Spurs? So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But anyways, guys, as I said, the reason that this video might be a little bit shorter today is because Ben might have to consider his future at the club of Spurs. Now, if you remember a few episodes ago, DJ Wood took over as PSG's chief negotiator. And it just so happens that PSG are the team that make the first offer for Ben in this window. Now, I went ahead and joined the club so I could show you the squad that they do, in fact, have. I'll do this for the other team that actually offered us as well. I don't want to spoil it, guys, so if you've already clicked the button to vote, then you will know both teams that have made an offer for Ben, so you will be able to make your decision, which is why the title is something along the lines of Decide. So, hopefully you guys understand that I know these two teams has been played for before in this with DJ Wood in the My Player Save, so, you know, DJ Wood is basically going to be playing again, effectively, but it's going to be his nephew. And both the clubs that are offering are both teams that DJ Wood did feature for. By the way, we found Dele Alli. He plays at PSG. There he is in the PSG lineup, which kind of made me think maybe it wouldn't be such a good idea to go over to PSG, considering the fact that Dele Alli is there as well. So, yeah, I mean, what do we do? Do we let Ben go there and potentially miss a few games? Do we keep him at Spurs where he's going to get guaranteed game time? Or does he join the other club that made an offer for him, which was Real Madrid? Now, it's a considerable amount of more money for Ben to consider, but he doesn't strike me as somebody that plays for the money. Do you know what I mean? He strikes me as somebody that wants to play and win stuff. So the money is not important. The question is going to be, does he fancy his chances more playing at Real Madrid? Does he think he's going to win more trophies at Real Madrid? Or does he fancy his chances playing at PSG? So as you're seeing the two teams, I want you guys to consider this in your decision, and you can cast your vote by pressing the I button at the top right-hand side of this video, guys. If you click in there, you'll be able to cast it. There'll be 3 options. The first one will be to join PSG. The second one will be to join Real Madrid. Or the third one, alternatively, is to stay at Spurs. So that is for you guys to make your decision on. And, of course, guys, hopefully you guys are good at making decisions when I'm on my channel. So hopefully you guys do it again here. And that will be the similar situation where you guys can make a great decision again regarding Ben and his future in this series. I'm excited to see what you guys decide. I honestly don't mind whichever one wins, because I think he'll have a great season no matter what happens. So, as you can see, he was drove to the airport because he was told there are 2 planes waiting for you, Ben. You've got a plane heading over to France and Paris, which is on one side, or, alternatively, you've got a plane heading to Spain and Madrid, which is on the other side. So he's got to pick and choose which plane he wants to join in with, or which plane he wants to go with, and of course, whichever one he boards will be the team that he looks to go to, or the car is going to remain behind, and then he can make his decision as to whether or not he wants to stay at Spurs for a bit longer in this series. So, as he got out of the car, started heading towards it, he took a look at the runway, and then he turns back and takes a look at the car to make his kind of thoughts and just gather his thoughts, I guess you can say. So, as I said before, you guys need to make your decision. You can vote by pressing the I at the top right-hand side of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. As I said all the time on videos, I really do appreciate all of your support that you guys give me. It's absolutely crazy to see. So thank you again for watching another episode of this series and watching another video of mine. I will see you all again at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow for yet another video, guys. Don't miss it. Catch you all then. Adios!